It's like a heartbeat, beat street. It's like a 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 heartbeat. Yeah, I'm talking about beat street.
That's right, y'all. I'm talking about Beat Street. And welcome back to the channel. And when I decided to talk about this movie, I thought it would be pretty straightforward, but ended up going on a pretty deep dive into the history of this film. I'm actually going to make a second video about the influence of Beat Street in East Germany of all places. That'll be on my other channel. But for now, let's get into Beat Street.
This is beat, this is beat, this is beat, this is beat. Hey you, yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm here to tell you the scoop.
Welcome to 1984, which ended up being a pretty influential year for hip-hop in movies. There were several films released that year of varying qualities and subject matter. There was Wild Style, which was a documentary-type film about hip-hop. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, there were the two breaking films that came out in 1984. They were flashy and neon-colored, and kind of cartoonish, not to mention the fact that they were based in LA. In 1985, there was the absolutely horrible film Rappin', which I've talked about before. Sitting somewhere neatly in the middle was Beat Street, a film with an actual plot, a budget, and production value. And the first little nugget I learned about Beat Street while researching this film is that it was directed by Stan Lathan. Stan Lathan is the father of Sanaa Lathan, the actress. His directing credits go way back. He's very prolific and still directing to this day, including all of the Dave Chappelle stand-up specials. And another interesting tidbit, the film was produced by the Harry Belafonte, who wanted the film to be representative of the culture and to be taken serious. Because at this point, early on in hip-hop, it was being treated as a fad in Hollywood, and Harry Belafonte didn't see it as a fad. Turns out he was right. And the film itself was based on a story by Stephen Hager, a journalist who had been writing about hip-hop for The Village Voice. The cast of the film is unique in that it features trained actors and actual street performers. You have Mary Alice as the mother of our main characters, Ray Don Chong as the love interest. Our main character is played by Guy Davis, who happens to be the son of Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee. And then you have performers like Robert Taylor as Lee, the younger brother of Kenny, the main character. This was his first film role, and he actually does a pretty good job. And of course, there's numerous performances and cameos, with artists like Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force, Grandmaster Melly Mel and the Furious Five, Kool Herc, Dougie Fresh, the Rocksteady Crew, which is a legendary breakdance crew, and the New York City Breakers, a rival crew. The rivalry between those two crews was real. The producers hired two rival breakdance crews, Rocksteady and New York City Breakers. To keep the tension high for the camera, the production team allegedly kept the crews separate on set and encouraged their real-life antagonism. The death of character Ramon and his rival Spit in the subway tunnel, although being very important for the film, was pretty dark for a dance movie, or what was at the time considered a dance movie. There was actually a rating fight with the MPAA. They originally gave the film an R rating, largely due to this scene and the language. The studio appealed, arguing it would kill the film's target demographic, and they successfully got it knocked down to PG, because PG-13 didn't come out until later on that same year. And that's why this PG-rated film has a couple of F-bombs in it.
My man, when he was the loud screaming out to say Ramon.
The It's Just Begun switch. In the iconic battle at the Roxy, the dancers are actually breaking to the song It's Just Begun by Jimmy Castor Bunch. However, due to licensing and creative decisions, the music was dubbed over in post-production with Breaker's Revenge by Arthur Baker. If you watch closely, the dancers' moves don't always perfectly sync with Breaker's Revenge. Kool Moe Dee's Eyes. This film contains one of the rare appearances of rapper Kool Moe Dee without his trademark sunglasses. He appears in the Santa's Rap segment with the Treacherous 3. This is kind of like catching LL Cool J back in the day without a hat on.
After all He's just a doll. Ain't too much he can do. If you ask me, boy, I ain't too sure about you.
I have to talk about Ramon's seemingly superhuman speed. He covers an entire subway car top to bottom in what looks like 20 minutes of screen time. In reality, a whole car burner like this would have took crews of people all night, and he does it with like 3 cans of Krylon. To be fair though, if you look closely, you can see a bunch of spray cans on the ground. However, the film doesn't do a very good job of letting you know how much time has passed. So, you don't have to be paying much attention to realize this movie is set around Christmas in New York, which is freezing. But the editor in charge of continuity must have taken a holiday. In some scenes there's snow, in other scenes the streets are dry and the characters are wearing open windbreakers. Is it December or March? You really have no way to know, and it's kind of hard to figure out because it goes back and forth from one scene to the other. From Americans who remember Beat Street from their childhood, this brings up what might be the most incredible part of Beat Street's legacy. Its influence behind the Iron Curtain. The communist regime in East Germany, the GDR, was deeply suspicious of Western culture, especially anything American. But in 1985, they did something unthinkable. They imported and screened Beat Street in their cinemas. Why, you ask? Because the government believed the movie would serve as anti-capitalist propaganda. They thought that showing poverty, the crime, and the struggle in the South Bronx would scare young East Germans away from the lure of the West. It was supposed to show them that America was not a land paved with gold. It did the exact opposite, however. The youth didn't see the decay, they saw the culture. They saw the freedom, the self-expression, the powerful music. The movie became an instant underground blockbuster, and kids flocked to the cinemas, often watching it multiple times. A young man named Stefan Richter would later become one of Germany's biggest rap stars. Trettmann. He said he watched the movie repeatedly. He and thousands of others took the elements that they could easily replicate, like breakdancing, and turned it into an unofficial youth movement. They were literally importing freedom. The communist state thought they were showing the ugly side of capitalism. Instead, they handed the youth a cultural weapon that helped define a generation that would eventually tear down the Berlin Wall. Like I said, I'll dig a little bit deeper into this subject on my other channel. So with all the stuff I've mentioned and all the little behind the scenes tidbits and history behind the film Beat Street, I gotta say, this movie's still pretty good. Yeah, under modern eyes, it's a bit corny, kinda cringy at some points, but back then, this movie was kinda the shit. I do think Crush Groove is a better overall film, mainly because it has a much better soundtrack, because that's the one area that Beat Street kinda lacks. The audition scene in Beat Street is about as bad as the same scene in Rappin'. But the rest of the film as a whole is pretty solid. The acting's pretty good, the story's decent, and it's produced pretty well. I'd highly encourage you to watch Beat Street, especially if you've never seen it. Like I said, it may be a little much, it may be a little corny for you now, but I think you'll enjoy it. You can find it for free right now on Tubi, or look for like a DVD or Blu-ray box set. I used to have one that had Breaking 1 and 2 and Beat Street in it. I used to show it to the kids at my job. They thought it was hilarious. So let me know if you have any fond memories of Beat Street or any of those old hip-hop movies from the early 80s. If you like this video, hit the like button, share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll be back real soon. Thanks for watching.
Learn from the past and work for the future, and don't be a slave